Welcome to the Roundtable Podcast. I am Joseph. Today we have a very special episode in which my good friend Kasheka will be interviewing my friend and yours, the legendary OpenEyeProject. Today's topic is the quest for the fifth element, and this will be the first in a series of interviews and podcasts hosted by Kasheka as I prepare to ride off into the sunset, hopefully. That being said, please join us on the Roundtable Discord server and follow us on YouTube and BitChute and in the hashtag RT Podcast channel of the server. In those three places, you can find over 250 fantastic Roundtable podcasts. That being said, welcome OpenEye, welcome Kasheka. Thank you for joining me. How are you, OpenEye?
I'm doing pretty good.
Great.
Yeah, I told you today about I got some new experiences like almost every day. And I was thinking of the fifth element, like the movie with Bruce Willis and that young lady. And it's a lot of these dimensions or parallel universes. It's kind of like that. It's if you're trying to do any kind of magic and you can't see what's going on, you could pretty much trap yourself in a parallel universe, and you could be trapped there forever. And then so you got to be careful what you're doing, or you could actually kill yourself. But in the movie, it talks about the the five elements, which is wind, stone, fire, water. Earth. Well, it's you could say stone is the earth. I don't know. I think it's a lot more elements than that. They really are, because the elements of darkness, the elements of light, they got so many different elements. I found out, like the element of light is cotton, and I did a thing on cotton a while back, but I'm not going to go into detail about it. And then they got the element of darkness. In darkness, I found out they put darkness puts people to sleep, and it talks about that in Genesis too. But the book of Genesis, God talked about He saw the darkness upon the earth and everything, and He said, "Let there be light," and separate the darkness from the light and all. But I've been trying some things. I found out about the alphabets, that they're living beings. And there's numbers too. And Notre Dame talks about the 70 that I read the last books of Notre Dame, and I found a part where he said that someone's going to die on the day of their birth, which was my mother. She was born on the 27th and she died on the 27th. And she was like 27 years old. So that's a very that 27 comes up a lot, like the 27th book of Revelation in the Bible, in the New Testament, and the 27th book of what is it? Talks about Daniel, the book of Daniel, and but the numbers are alive. So when he said the 70. I don't know if he's just talking about 70 people or if he's talking about the numbers itself. I have no idea. But I found out everything's alive. I mean, spirits are everywhere. They're in your walls. They're in your seat. They're little bitty people as well as big giants and stuff. And so I started trying to raise things back from the dead. And I did some rituals, like putting something on the tree, or put it on the stone, because I saw the spirits were stuck in the stone, it seemed like. Today I stood upon the stone. I said, you know what? And I found a bone. And I says, oh, I thought about the bone. The bone is like an element too. So I said, I hold on to the bone, and I'm made of bone too, and it's like the sword. You got to take the sword Excalibur out the stone. So I imagine myself like in King Arthur's day, that I am the sword. And I said, well, if they trapped me in these spirits are trapping people in trees, in stone. They're tying them to benches. They're tying them to fence lines, tying them up everywhere. So I said, you know what? What if I, get on the stone and jump off, or put the bone on the stone and take it off like that? And it seemed like it worked too. And because when I got in I took a log. I didn't see about the stone thing, but I took a log of a tree that was my size or whatever, and I stood upon the tree stump, and I saw the spirits in the sky saying, "Hey, look, he's in. How in the hell you got in that tree?" It's like I was inside the tree in the other dimension, because I was standing on a log or whatever. So I jumped off the log, and then they said, "Damn, how in the hell you got out that tree?" They was like freaking out. And then tonight, I started looking around, and these they got these invisible trees that's up in the clouds, up in the stars, like they grow from the earth, and they're really tall, but I can't see them. But I could see the physical trees. So I'm watching these spirits looking at these trees, these invisible trees, saying, "Hey, look, he's in the tree," And then they saw me jump out the tree, and then they were like looking up in the sky because there's no trees up in the sky that I could see. And they were saying some of these spirits were like trying to run away from the tree because the tree came back to life. It started eating the people up.
Ouch.
And it was like, holy shit. The
OpenEye.
damn trees are alive now.
How
And
do
they're eating. Huh?
you were mentioning before about the elements. How do they tie into the story that you're telling us about right now about the spirits? And same with the spiritual dimensions and parallel universes. How does that all tie in?
Well, it's kind of like that movie. They have a lot more elements because you got the electromagnetic pulse of the body too, of elements that's not really told. And that woman was actually the fifth element. So like I'm thinking like I'm the fifth element. So that's why I jumped on the rock, stood upon the rock, and was thinking, well, I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna get out this rock, in my mind. And I was doing it for everybody else. I was trying to free people, or free myself if I'm stuck in that rock,
So you were
And
seeing
so
the spirits in the rock?
Yeah, they're in the rocks. Yeah,
Okay. And in
and
the
they
tree?
talk. They talk. And then some of them are trapped though, like they're big giant heads of humans or dinosaurs, and you could see their mouth moving, and they actually talk and stuff. But you could see at night. I could see the little bitty, the smaller ones that's inside the stone. Now I don't know if they imprisoned in the stone or whatever. So I said, and I was thinking about the King Arthur thing, like who is able to pull the sword out the stone? And I didn't do this. I was thinking, well, tomorrow I might do this. I'm gonna take my sword, I'm gonna put it upon the rock, right? And I'm gonna do like King Arthur did, like pull it out, put it in a crack or whatever, between the stone. And I'm gonna try that next, but I got to see what's going on with this, what's going on now tonight because. And the thing is, the trees came back to life and started untying some of the people that's tied up. It's like their arms, like the tree came back to life because I stood upon a stump. I don't know if that's what did it because I was doing so many different things, and but the trees came back to life. I mean, it's really weird. Huh?
How is it that you're the fifth element? What does that
Well,
mean?
in the movie, she had these powers. She was the perfect, the quantum. I think she's the quantum entanglement person, like I am. I could see things. I could have night vision. I could see energy flowing in my van. It's like all these particles of light all around me. It's like looking in the night vision goggles. You see all these lights and particles or whatever. And plus, her being the fifth element, I'm quantum consciousness. And the scientists, they talk about quantum consciousness, but they never met nobody. that's like that. And I might be the first one, or well, not. I'm probably not the first one. It's just um, I'm one of them that woke up and on the earth to tell the human race, the message about what's really going on, because the human race is blind. They did something to our DNA where we they're blind humans. So, I never could see, um, but I was born by the test of fire one night, and I realized I could read the driver's license letters, the little bitty letters, and the lady let me do it, and she was like going, "Oh my God, you're the first one that could do that," you know.
Mhm.
And them letters were small, man. I was like far away, it's a regular chart they have on the wall, one of them. And I realized I couldn't see them small letters when I was, doing the test. So, but I started doing research. It's been like 14 years now. It's been 13 actually, but it's about 14 years now, and I've been doing scientific research on all kinds of stuff.
So when you say
Um,
that you're the fifth element, is that like, I know, like you were explaining before, right? The water, the air, the metal, rock, or whatever. But I've heard that the fifth one is like an ether. I guess that's the spirit, the quantum world. Is that what you're talking about? And does that tie into the fact that you can see spirits in the spiritual dimension?
well, I can't say it's really the fifth element because no one really knows. They got so many elements. You don't know what order. I mean, I guess you could put the elements in any kind of order you want, any fashion you want. But the lady on the movie was the fifth element. That's what the moral of the story was. And she had to stand in the middle between the four elements. And then when that evil thing came to destroy the earth, uh, Bruce Willis, grabbed to her, and she found out what love was. And with them two being together, that was like the fifth element kind of thing. The flesh, the body, um, the bones, the hair, the skin. And a lot of people don't think about that. What makes up the body? Okay, you got hair, you got skin, you got bone, you got fingernails too. That's kind of like elements of your body, because um, and you got the bones, your bones, the blood, and then you got electricity too. You got your heart that pumps electromagnetic stuff. So that's more than four elements. But what I'm saying is, there's way more than four elements, okay, or
Mhm.
five. You know, because I've been doing research on the elements, and like cotton is one of them. You could use a white candle, and I wanted to do some experiments on people that were blind and put cotton all over their body and light the candle and let it burn for so long, and then see what happens if they feel different, or whatever. And because
You were
I'm a
mentioning
scientist.
the spirits, the good ones that you were releasing from the trees and the rocks, the letter ones, the ones that have the
Yeah,
names of letters. You were mentioning how you were putting them down on the rock, and then they now came and attached themselves to your body or something like that. I remember you were mentioning that before, and something about with your skin. What was that?
yeah. Well, the weird thing about this is I was listening to them. What I did was I put the letters,
You mean the
because I
spirits, right?
realized I raised the letter G up. I brung this thing back to life, and they was talking about how the letter G was like a mean motherfucker, and he was about to eat this dude, and he was saying, "Hey man, don't eat me. Go eat that big motherfucker. Go eat that big dude or whatever."
Mhm.
And so, and I found out, I said, well, you know what? Let me try to free the rest of the letters. I mean, and I would put the letters upon the stone and then upon the wood, and I would, wait a little while, and then I would take it off. And then they were getting released because the letter U, I did it with the letter U, like a horseshoe. I took a horseshoe and I put it on the wood and on the stone, and I took it off. and then they were trying to catch the letter U, and that was yesterday. And I said, "Oh shit, man! I better try to free all the other letters. That way, if all of them get loose, the evil seven, which they call themselves the Holy Seven, they call themselves Holy Seven, but they're actually evil.
Were
And
those the ones that trapped them into the tree and the rocks?
yeah, they try to catch him. Well, they're trying to catch the letter U because U got away. He got free.
Okay.
And so what I did was I tried to free all the other letters. That way, if all of them get let loose, you might have a chance, to not get caught. But they were bragging. Some of them bad spirits were bragging that they took all the skin off of them. They skinned them. So what I did was I took the letters and put it on my body, on my flesh, the fifth element, right? And I put it on me, and then their skin came back, and they were all freaking out. They says, "Damn, how in the hell they got skin?" So I'm like the fifth element, the quantum entanglement person. But
What
so
happened to them
I
after
didn't like what?
I was just wondering what happened to them after they had skin on them.
I don't know. I guess they got away. I went to bed and I said, okay, well, I pretty much did all I could do for them, and I quit watching. And I had to deal. I bought this blanket for $4 because I didn't want to buy another sleeping bag. Because the other sleeping bag I got was too tight on me. It's like for little kids or something, I guess. I don't know. And I bought this blanket, and they had some bad spirits in there, and they kept on messing with me, so I had to use firecrackers on them and my flamethrower too. And then I started throwing them out because I didn't think that would work. Because if I aim at my blanket and throw them, and I actually caught some of them. Because as I looked at one, and it's like peeling an onion. You got to grab one of them at a time and throw them out. And then as I was throwing one out, he was screaming to Sirius, saying, "He's throwing me out. He's throwing us out." And
So
what
you're
they
saying
did
that?
was,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, they wrote the name of Sirius on the blanket.
So does everything have spirits in it?
Oh yeah, everything. I mean, the water you drink. I mean, the food you eat. They're in oranges. I actually took an orange, and I peeled it. Like a spiral. It's got a big shell on it, whatever. And it was a big orange. And I put it on a rock, and the squirrel started eating it. And then I saw the spirits looking down, uh, you know, on the ground and stuff. And it says, "Look, orange is on the ground." I put it on orange on the rock, and I put another one on the dirt. And I was gonna see what happens because I'm like watching them, and I'm listening to them. And then they said, "Look, the squirrels are eating orange." So this orange person, that's his name, you know.
Is that
So
kind of like how you were explaining before, those spirits that you pulled out of the tree and the rocks that their names were like the letter that you were talking about, like C or G or whatever, or U?
yeah, like one of the first ones, I was like looking. They said, "Oh crap, C got out," C got away.
Mhm.
So what I did was I cut all the letters. I wrote all the alphabets on one paper, so I had to cut them individually, and that worked too because all of them was not bunched together. They were all separate. So I cut every letter out the paper and had them being by themselves so they could. And the thing is, they stuck together anyway. All the letters stuck together and they went to heaven. Yeah, they took off to heaven together. So,
So are they
and I
good
said,
or are
well,
they bad? Sorry.
I don't know. I can't tell you. I mean, G was a bad motherfucker, bad dude. I mean, he was trying to eat that spirit up, but he was probably hungry. Because what happens is if they trap you, they don't feed you, and when you get food, you get time. All right, I never talked about time before, so what they're doing is the spirit world people, they're stealing time from us. So whatever they do on earth, they do in heaven. So when you go to bed and they're sucking on your skin and stuff, because when my body came back to life, I could feel them. When I was born again by fire, I could feel these spirits on me, you know. And what they do is they suck on you, and they steal your time. So every time you eat food, you get more time, you know. And what happens is they don't want you to have time, because if you grow to be a big spirit in heaven with all that time, you know, they don't want that to happen, you know, for some reason.
What do you mean by time?
Well, time, the more time you have, the bigger you get big, you know. Like I seen two women, I was on my motorbike, I was doing alchemy, you know. I was driving, I thought if I get away from a car and they can't suck on me like they could, you know, because I'm surrounded by 100,000 spirits in my car, and they could suck on me any day. They bite on me sometimes, you know, and stick me and all that stuff. So when I rode the motorbike, I built I built up my time, because I was driving through the atmosphere, and all that energy and stuff was coming through my feet and, you know, entering my body. So I was actually turning my body into gold, you know.
So do you mean time that you're alive?
No, time is they're stealing time from us.
But what do you mean by time?
Yeah, all right. I'll give you an example. If a vampire sucks on your energy, that's stealing time. All right. If a woman, if you got to have a fight, like a boxing fight, and you go have sex with a woman, men don't have sex with women about a month before the fight or whatever. Maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks. I don't know. And because women would suck all your powers out, suck your energy, you know, if you have sex with a woman, you know, or hug them or whatever, you know. So that's why fighters, and I don't know if y'all know that, but it's a rule that, you know, hey man, you don't want to have sex with your wife for a week because you need all that energy, you know.
So the energy is the time that you're talking about?
Well, yeah, energy is like chi. You know how you ever heard of chi, where you could hit somebody and your energy would go in them too? So, you know, chi, or you don't have the energy, or you don't have that time, you know, so that's, but see, no one knows about, even the blue dust. I figured out time is something that no one knows about. The blue dust, I ran upon the blue dust one time on my motorbike, where this big spirit came. It got nighttime, and this big blue spirit flew over me and threw all this blue dust all over. You know, all, you know, the trees, the mountains, everything turned blue, whatever. And then I seen some spirits another time in the far distance, and they were putting blue dust on them. So if they go in the clouds, you know, up there, that they would be camouflaged, you know.
What is blue dust?
I don't know what it is. The reason why our sky is blue is because the aliens created this blue dust, and they put it all over the earth because it camouflages their spaceships too. The blue dust, you know. And another time I got pissed off at some spirit. He was flying in front of me, going around telling people some bullshit when I was on my motorbike. And he landed in the mountains, and I fucking started, oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't curse. But I started aiming at that sucker in the mountains, and I started stirring it up. I mean, I turned on my laser beam really hard and strong, and all that blue dust in the mountains just started flying up in the air, man. I was like, I was trying to burn that son of a gun up. And then I said, well, since I stirred up the dust, I might as well camp out there and get me some, you know. I thought the angel dust would be something that might help you. I don't know. You know. But one spirit came to me and says, hey, you don't look good in blue or red. And he started blowing on me. He blew all the dust off of me.
What happened to you after it was gone? What was the difference? What was the difference in you after the dust was all gone off of you, the blue and the red?
Well, I found out that I was invisible. I'm a race of invisible people. And I believe the reason why they put the blue dust on me so they could see me, So
That makes
at
sense.
first I thought it was at first I thought the blue dust was good, maybe, but then I realized if you're invisible, they could see you. you know. So
Is that because you're partially in our world and also partially in the spirit world, and the spirits all see you just like you see them?
well, I'm gonna give you an example. Every time I go shopping, I would notice I'm pushing a shopping cart. And they says, "Oh, look, it's him, it's got to be him. He's pushing a shopping cart, and uh, because they can't see me, because I'm in like in a parallel universe. So if I'm pushing a cart to Walmart to go shopping somewhere else in this wherever I'm pushing the cart, but they can't see me, so they know it's me. They know I'm. And plus, one time a spirit came down. I was working in North Dakota, and he came down. She came down and she pinned something on my shirt, and she said, "Here." I could hear her. I was like laying very quietly, and I was listening to her, and she pinned this little thing. She says, "Here," and I could feel it. She said, "This is so we could see you. It's shiny." Uh, so I know I'm one of the invisible ones. That's why they want to steal my body. Because if you have my body, guess what? You have invisibility. you know, like
That's
the Invisible
valuable.
Man.
Do you think that's
That's
why
why they're trying to steal my body.
do you think that's why when you put those letters on you, the spirits with the names of the letters onto your skin, they were happy because now they were able to grow their own skin of
Yeah, that's what
invisibility?
happened. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if they're invisible, but they got their skin back. I heard. I mean, this magic, this other dimension of this world is like magical. I mean, I could do things that I never thought I could do. I mean, I got night vision. I could see through walls. I could see through a 2-foot tree, probably even thicker than that. I could see through a rock, a 2-foot rock. I mean, I could see through it and see the spirits beyond the rock.
Why do you think the limit is 2 feet?
Well, I'm just giving an example.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be 2 foot. It could be. I actually put my head to the ground and look in the earth, straight down, and I could see them. Like, I don't know how far I could see. It's like, it seems like sometimes I think it's maybe 50 yards down underground. I could see them. So, and that's solid earth. I mean, so I don't know. It's kind of weird, but
I don't think it's weird. I think it's incredible.
yeah, it is. But people don't believe you, because it's that's why I'm doing the OpenEye project. Look, I know everything about using your peripheral vision, looking through the veil. Looking through the veil means, now this is not in the dictionary. It means that when you could see through walls and through your eyelids. I could see through my eyelids too. Yeah. And that's what I started doing. I would. That's how you open your third eye. You activate it by thinking with your mind that you seeing through your eyelids, and then your third eye on your forehead opens up.
Because it
And I
goes through
actually
like
saw
the
a
part of the
spirit.
brain that looks.
I actually saw a spirit in the spirit world where eyeball was on his forehead, right in the middle. Yeah.
Did he have other eyes? Or just the one on the forehead?
Yeah, I got three. I got three eyes there.
I think he was asking about the spirit that you saw with
Yeah.
the eye.
Oh,
on his
what now?
Did the
I
spirit
didn't hear.
have one eye or three?
Three.
You know why it's probably 50 yards? It's because it's probably where most people are buried.
Yeah, but 50 yards are pretty damn far. No, they bury you at 6 foot.
Oh, well,
50
yeah. Is it
yards
like
is like
more dense?
a half a football field, man. 50 yards is like a half a football field.
Yeah.
Well,
They're
what about all the
they're
people
not
that
gonna
were born a
parry.
long time ago, you know? The Earth would have, like, sucked them in, you know? You might be seeing really old.
Okay,
I
just
just want to remind you guys real quick, this is a podcast that is interview format, and the interviewer is Kasheka. So until she indicates that she is opening the floor for questions, nobody else is allowed to speak.
Yeah, you gotta let her ask the questions. Y'all gonna have y'all time. Just give it, because now we're off track. Unless Kashika could think of something.
Well, I know that you wanted to talk to me about a couple of things. We were talking about quite a few things before. You wanted to talk to me about the invisible dimensions, spiritual dimensions, and parallel universes, elements, which all of them have been tied together so far, and you've given us some information on all of them too. But you also mentioned that you found something out today, and I think it was related to the King Arthur's stone, right? Is there anything else that you didn't mention about that? What you found out about that, or what your experiments are going to be?
Yeah, well, I was thinking about the legend, how he could pull it out the stone, and I said, you know what? When I stood upon the stone, in my mind, it says, I am the stone, I am the sword, and I'm gonna pull myself out. Just like I did in the tree, I did the same thing. And when I went into the tree, the spirit says, look, he got inside the tree. And then I jumped out the tree, and they says, damn, someone just jumped. Well, it wasn't me, it was someone else. Okay, someone else was in that tree. Okay, so when I did that, whoever was in a tree, they jumped out and they all started freaking out, saying, oh my God, look, that dude just jumped out the tree and stuff. you know? And I don't know if it was me, it was maybe part of me, like quantum entanglement thing. They must have trapped him in a tree. And the person was like really big, I guess, because they were like looking up. But they got these invisible trees that's really big. They're like I don't know, a mile tall, maybe. I'm just giving an example, because a tree is like maybe trees are like 3 stories high, maybe 4 stories high. And these trees are like really tall, big, but they're invisible. I can't see them. And the thing is, the trees, when I've been doing some stuff, I don't know what I did, but I made these trees come back to life or something, because these darn trees are actually untying the good people. They're untying them. Like, how in the hell a tree's going to untie somebody? And I was watching the dude. He says, yeah, keep on. Yeah, untie me and stuff. And then some of the bad ones were saying, damn, them trees are trying to eat us up. Like the tree came to life.
So,
I don't
like
know if I took
the
I don't know if
spirit
I
of the
took a
tree?
curse off. Huh?
Are you saying the spirit of the tree came to life because the spirits that were being kept inside of it by those 7, the spirit of 7 or whatever, they were holding them in the trees, the spirit of the tree?
Yeah, well, they go around tying the good ones up. That's why I tried to get the letters out first. That was yesterday. And I started saying, okay, let me try to see if I'm gonna do the flesh thing, like the sword with King Arthur. There's only one person that could do it, but probably more people could do this. And I was telling Shogun and him, I says, look, you need to get on top of a rock, stand on the rock, and then jump off and get out the rock, or get on top of a stump. Maybe you're in prison too. And the only way to get yourself out is to do it. But you don't want to stay in there long, because if you stay in there long, what if them spirits try to tie you up? They take a rope and try to tie you up into the tree, and you can't get out, So you got to do it quickly.
So you were saying that everything has spirits in it, right?
Yeah.
Everything,
yeah.
your blanket, everything. Is it because of the materials that make up that item, the thing, the blanket or whatever, or is it because of something else? Is it because there's that 7 group that puts them into those items, or how does that happen?
Well, they got all these little bitty people everywhere, some of them are very small. I mean, they could be very small. They're in your food, okay? They're in your oranges, they're in your apples, they're in your bananas. I mean, they're very small people. Uh, they're very small, like an orange. If you look at an orange, they have eyeballs. These little round dots on oranges or grapefruits, you can see their faces. They look so cute, and they're so freaking small. I mean, they're freaking smaller than a quarter of an inch. They could fit on a ruler. They could be like an eighth of an inch or a fourth of an inch, just their face, you know?
So do those spirits need to be pulled out as well, just like the ones that were in the tree or in the rocks that you were talking about?
No, I'm not trying to pull them out. I actually fed the orange peelings to the squirrels, and I was watching the spirit world saying, look, the orange, the spirit that's called orange
Mm-hmm.
was on the earth. And they saw him, and it's like, because I put orange peeling on the ground, on that rock. And I was trying to see what the spirits would say. And I was trying to watch the squirrels, the ground squirrels eat it,
Mm-hmm.
And I did that today, actually. And, but I do everything scientifically. I'm kind of like a magic spiritual dimensional scientist,
So
Well,
what do you see?
I actually call myself the invisible dimension scientist,
What do you see in other dimensions? What do you experience in other dimensions? Or is it just that in your normal life you can feel yourself in the different dimensions, which allows you to see the spirits?
Well, I tried to put olive oil on um, certain things, and I found out olive oil makes people wake up. I mean, because they put these people to sleep. So I actually been putting olive oil on me, on my hands too. And some darn spirits keep on putting something on my hand, and I could feel it. Because when I take my knife and try to cut around my fingers, you know, I put the knife between my fingers and I try to pull it off, whatever it is, because I can't see it. It's too close to my eyes, And then I try to slam my hand, knock them off and squeeze. And like I take my hand and squeeze one finger, and it comes off. And then one time I was squeezing it, and I saw a spirit face. It says, "No, no, no!" He was like screaming, "Don't squeeze me!" And I actually seen a spirit. For some reason, he was on my finger, whatever, around my finger area, and he was bigger than I thought. I thought it was something they were pouring on my finger, like some kind of acid or something, like they're trying to kill my hand or something. So, and I went to grab to take that stuff off, to pull it off, and then what I do is I wash, that sanitizer stuff.
Mhm.
I use that or water with garlic. I bathe my hands with the garlic in case they're trying to kill my hand. It could bring it back to life too with garlic.
Is it that garlic protects you, like makes you almost invisible to them, or they don't like it, or is it that it just helps you to regenerate or like to heal or something?
Yeah, it's some kind of healing thing. Garlic. I did a garlic bath one time, and the spirit was screaming to Sirius, because there's a bad Sirius and there's a good one. Okay. What happened was the evil one took the image of Sirius, stole his image, and then killed him, and then started saying that he was Sirius, that he's not. And he started doing evil stuff. And everybody, they call him Uncle Sirius. Well, I realized that there's always anything that's good, there's evil, because they stole my image. I mean, I saw one woman face. I mean, my body went into like electrical charge, whatever. I mean, I was laying down. I never felt that before. It was like electrical, and all at once, I had a vision of me talking to a dude in a truck, and I showed him a card, and I showed him a number, and then he would take me to that place. And then I saw my father and this woman with a lot of kids around her. And that woman, that place she had my head, okay, and she had breast on, she had, and then I walked into her body and I could feel her, I like walked into her and got inside her body, and then she stood up, but now she turned into me. It was my body. What the woman didn't have breasts no more, so she had my head, and then she stole my body, and I know that for a fact. And then one time I saw myself smiling at me. I was in Utah, and she was, well, he was smiling at me like an evil grin, and I don't like to smile. I don't smile like that. And I tell you what, that was an evil smile grin. A grin. They call it the grin. When it's evil, it's not a smile. It's a grin, an evil grin. And smiling, like thinking, like, ha ha ha, I got your body. And I knew that's what that damn thing was thinking. And I wanted to get the hell out of my body and kill the damn, kill him and take my body back, or kill her.
So was this somebody
So,
that you saw that was you, like physical, or was it just spirit?
spirit. It was spirit.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And they
So
were, they were outside of my car in the windshield, smiling at me, waving at me like that. And I says, "Oh man!" And I already knew they already stole my body, so I knew it had to have been her. But the thing is, she could go around killing people, robbing a bank, stealing from people with my image, and set me up. And then everybody thinks I'm the evil one. That's why she did it. To
is that why
set
they
me up.
pick at you? Is that why they pick at you, at your skin and stuff like that, and they try to take parts of you because they're trying to make
Well, it might
you?
be some of these spirits coming after me because they think I'm that evil person that's going around doing evil shit. But that bitch, she stole my image.
Have you ever
And
touched her?
the thing is, if they could do that to me, they could do that to anybody. That's why I don't trust Yeshua's image. I don't trust Moses' image. If they had an image of God, I wouldn't even trust that neither. I mean, I
What
don't
would you
trust
trust?
no name nor image. I don't trust none of it.
What would you trust?
I trust myself. I had
How
a
about
spirit whisper in my ear. I was at a gambling place. I was casino, and this, like, I could hear the wind. When you whisper in someone's ear,
Mhm.
and the only thing he says, believe in yourself. That's it. All he said.
Well, that's
And
beautiful.
now I understand why he told me that. Because all the things I have learned, I'm the only one I could believe in. The only one. I don't believe in no God, not even angels. Or no, I've seen angels, but I don't believe that they're good. I can't say they're good, because they could steal images.
So you
They could
can't tell the
steal it.
difference though between a good one and a bad one?
Well, I'm gonna give you an example. In the stained glass, um, or statues, a spirit could go into a stained glass, and I was looking at stained glass, and I said, okay, that's an angel, right? An angel or a saint, whatever, of a stained glass, right? And I said, you know what? I bet you they're stealing images out of this glass, because they go into the image and then they steal the image, okay, and then it goes in the body, or whatever. So I started aiming at the stained glass in the Catholic Church, and I would throw them out just to see, what kind of spirit was in there.
What were you aiming?
Well, I aim with my eyes. I got laser eyes.
Okay. So is that like an
And,
intent that you're sending it?
well,
Like
it's like a teleporter. You know how Star Trek, they teleport you.
Mhm.
They lock on you, and then you could throw it. Or
Mhm.
usually a teleporter would just pull them in. They would pull them in. They lock on you. It's kind of like that. You lock on them, and you just throw them. And it's a lot of times I throw these spirits out like onion, because you throw some spirits. I could stand all day throwing spirits out my car, because it's like an onion. You throw a group of them out, then you throw them again, and I mean,
Do you
it's a
do you
never
ever
ending story.
do you ever throw them into something to like trap them or anything like that so that you don't have to deal with them again?
Well, I try to just throw them as far as I could because some of these people are are prisoners, and I try to get the ones that's standing over the prisoners. I try to throw them out, and I try to get the prisoners out too. You know, um,
Do you
I
think that
actually
would
could
be
take.
possible though? To actually put them into something or into a different dimension or wherever they came from? Do you think that that would be a possible thing? So that you don't have to deal with them
Well,
ever again?
well, when I was fighting the moon, I would close my eyelids and I'd find out what they're saying and what they're doing, and I would aim at them and I would throw the one spirits that's around the moons and the star and stuff like that. I would throw them
Mm.
in the ocean, you know, and the fish, the spirits in the fish in the ocean would eat them up, you know.
Oh, so it's a good place to put them.
Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good place to put them. And another thing is, if I have a campfire going, I could aim at a star, a spirit up in the stars, and pull him out the stars and throw him in the campfire and burn his ass up.
So are you
Yeah.
doing that to good ones or bad ones, or it doesn't matter, or like
Well, I
how do you pick
tried
and
it one
choose?
time. I tried to find out which one was bad, and I wanted to see if I could do it. And actually, I pulled one down right at my feet, and then I peed on top of his head. Talk about being pissed off.
So basically you just pull them out of wherever you see them, but you don't really look to see, you don't, it doesn't matter to you if they're good or bad or whatever, or like how.
So when I was doing it as an experiment, I would try to pick out the bad one. You know,
Okay, okay.
I would sit there and listen to see who they are first. You know, especially the ones around the moon, because the ones that they're harvesting humans and stuff. And I said it's probably better just to throw them in the ocean. And a lot of times, if you throw them on the ground, they just blow up. You know, because they're full of energy, and when they hit the earth, they just explode like boom. You know,
So what happens to the energy?
well they explode.
It just kind of goes everywhere.
Yep.
Is that the energy that they're feeding off of people? Is that why
Yeah,
they're harvesting?
they suck energy. Yeah, and
That's the time?
and I found out that Nostradamus was burning Nostradamus. I gotta say it right. Nostradamus, Notre Dame, whatever. He was burning circles, and he said on the last pages, he said, "Burn, burn, burn." That only 70 of us are gonna survive, and Saturn's gonna come too late. You know. Uh,
What
so
does that mean? Saturn's going to come too late.
well, the spirits from Saturn. If you look at a lot of the artwork, a lot of the saints have the halo.
Hmm.
So I found out that they took over all the way to Jupiter. The aliens, they took over. They came in from the sun area because we're on the outside of the universe, the galaxy, whatever. And they came in and took over all the planets all the way to Jupiter, but they didn't take over Saturn yet. Because I heard Germany, the Third Reich, was going to attack Saturn, you know, with spaceships and stuff. And I overheard them talking. They said, but I stopped them. They know who I am. They said, for some reason, I stopped them, you know. So
So what makes
I
Saturn
stopped.
different? Why Saturn?
Well, it's spaceships and stuff. I mean, it's like Star Wars. It's aliens, you know, with spaceships and stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's a galactic war. Now they might have took over Saturn. I don't know. You know.
Does Saturn have spirits in it as well?
Yeah, they got spirits everywhere. Yeah, up in the stars. I mean, when you don't have no body, you don't feel cold. You're just a spirit. So you don't even need oxygen. I mean, I was trying to smoke out this spirit that was in front of my car by my steering wheel area, and he says, "You really think I breathe oxygen? I'm dead, dude." It's like, okay, I guess you don't need oxygen, you know?
So are there special spirits in Saturn that makes it so that so many people or things want to go there or take control of it?
No, it's just a galactic war. I mean, it's a physical alien uh, war planets. I mean,
Well, I'm just trying to figure out why you're saying that Saturn would be there too late.
well, the aliens that's living in the galaxy of this galaxy, that's where they stopped them. Probably. I mean, they didn't go no further. I think, but I'm not sure. But because things could change. I mean, last year they could have took over Saturn, but it was like 3 or 4 years ago, I think, and they were talking about Germany. Germany had some kind of plot. They told the aliens that they could attack Saturn and take it over or whatever. And wow, look at that red light.
OpenEye, is it okay if we open it up for other people to ask you questions now?
Yeah, you could do that.
So, if anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask OpenEye.
I do. OpenEye, after all that being said, what do you think, and you may have answered this already, but what do you think the fifth element is? Because the podcast is called Quest for the Fifth Element. So if you had to guess, what do you think the fifth element is?
Well, I'm just going by the movie. There's way more than 5 elements in the universe. And in the movie, they have the 4 elements, stone, what is it? Wind, fire, water. And then the fifth element was the woman herself, or, 2 of them, like Bruce Willis and her. Well, she had these superpowers or whatever. And so, but she was so weak, she couldn't stand up. So that's why Bruce Willis pretty much, held her and hugged her and held on to her. And I'm just going by the movie because the quantum entanglement, if you look at it that way, I am the fifth element, pretty much. The quantum. I have a quantum consciousness too. I know I could prove it. All the things I do is like I'm like Superman, Van Diesel in Pitch Black. I got night vision. I'm Iron Man. I'm freaking Incredible Hulk. Well, I might not be Incredible Hulk, but I'm not that big of a guy. But all the superheroes, like like the X-Men people, like Dune, the movie Dune. A lot of these superhero characters, I have these abilities, like seeing through walls, X-ray vision. It's really amazing. I really can't believe that I am this person. It's
So
hard to believe it.
do you think you're the only one like that, or do you think that you're part of, like, because quantum, right? You're talking about the level of everything, kind of. So do you think that you're one of a group of people, or that other people will get to your level, the quantum entanglement?
Well, that's why I'm doing the OpenEyeProject. Is I'm trying to activate the rest of us. Like the 2 witnesses in the Bible, it says there's 2 of us, and anybody that's trying to harm them, that fire is going to come out and burn them up and stuff. And that's already happened on Highway 27 going to Rome, Georgia. I ran into these devil worshippers and stuff, and their bodies, this was physical. I mean, human spontaneous combustion, and these people actually burnt up. So I'm on the run. That's why I'm not showing my photograph to nobody. And I don't want them to know where I'm at. And because if they kidnap me, they're going to torture me. They're going to probably put me in a cellar, cut my fingers off, cut my tongue off, pull my eyeballs out, and all. I mean, there's no telling.
Stay safe.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I went to the FBI in Florida and I hauled butt from there. And I said, look, man, these people are devil worshippers and they're trying to kill me. And I told them I left my tent and my kayak. And I never went back. But I had to do that because if they put a dead body inside that kayak and kill somebody and then try to blame it on me, they can't do it because I've already went to the FBI and told them, I left it there. And they know exactly where I left it. you know.
Hmm.
And they could go investigate it. They could go to the place and says, "Look, oh yeah, this dude he left," and they got my name because you got to sign your name where you're camping, right? And they know that kayak and that tent's for me, you know. So
So, seeing that you're the fifth element or your quantum entanglement because of everything that you're capable of doing, or that you see the spirits and you're kind of in our like different worlds, different dimensions. Um, do you think that that you are meant to just take like battle the bad evil spirits, or do you think that there's something else that you need to do?
well, I've been fighting. I sleep with a sword. I got flamethrowers. It's called carburetor intake cleaner. I have firecrackers with me all the time. I got to make a trip. I got to drive all the way to go get firecrackers. If it's not January uh, or 4th of July, I got to drive all the way to a far place to get firecrackers. And I
What I
mean,
mean is, aside from just battling the evil spirits, do you think that there's any other reason for you to be the quantum entanglement?
well, the weird thing about quantum entanglement, if I hang upside down, everybody falls down from heaven head first. I mean, if I want to empty the heavens, I could do that. I mean, and when I laid down, one time I laid down just to rest, you know, waiting for the bus, and I saw this build. You know, I was looking at this building, and all the people that was in the wall just laid down, you know. And then the little kid, I heard the little kid. He says, "Hey, Daddy, he must be the one that puts us to sleep." Because see, what happens is when I lay down, they see all these people lay down too. You know, if I lay to the right, they lay to the right. And that's how I've been loosening people. I would lay to the right, left, and I would hang upside down. And I tried to free people because they were stealing people's bodies. So I've been doing a secret war with them where I would hang upside down. That way the other spirit would fall out the other person's body. Or I would lay to the left, and then I would lay to the right, you know, do north, east, south, west, you know. So
Yeah, you were
like if they're
saying.
stuck in the tree, like if they're stuck in the tree, if I
Mhm.
lay down, that's why some people actually tie themselves to the tree
You mean
so they don't
spirits?
go flying off into space, you know?
Do you mean the spirits, or do you mean people like me
Yeah,
and you? Or
because I got this ability and they got some other people that could do the same thing. And when they go to bed in a tree and they're sleeping in the tree for the night or whatever, they got to tie themselves up on the tree, okay?
okay.
So they don't go flying up into space, you know? That's another thing I found out too. I mean, that's why I call myself the quantum entanglement person because I know what I could do. And it was so cute to hear that little kid. He said, "Look, Daddy, look. He must be the one that puts us to sleep at night." You know, that was so cute. I mean,
So the little boy, like a real, not a spirit boy, but a real boy, was
no
able
spirit.
to.
No,
Oh,
it
a
was a
spirit boy.
spirit boy.
Ah,
Yeah, it was a
okay.
spirit boy. They were
Okay.
in the wall. Yeah.
Now you were mentioning the north, south, east, west, and I remember you were talking at one point in time about lying down with your head pointed north, and then you had rocks around you or crystals or something like that. What was what did that help you do?
Well, I was doing an experiment. I was learning about crystals and stuff because the spirit showed me we was going upstairs and he was showing me the history. And I think it was Joshua, I believe. Um, and we was going up these stairs and it was like he was showing me the tools of mankind. Now I can't tell you if it was him or not. It was someone, but I just suspected it might have been him. And after we got at the very top, he showed the tools was crystals, you know, and that was at the angelic realm stuff, whatever. Uh, it was the very top staircase, whatever. And so I decided, well, let me get some crystals. I was looking at books and stuff and reading about crystals, and I saw that you could crystals around your body to ground yourself or meditate or whatever. So I decided to do that, but I decided to get a compass to make sure I was pointing my head toward north, because any kind of scientific research, I mean, you got to come up with some kind of idea, and it worked, but I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. So I did that, and all at once, it happened very quick. I started catching a radio station, and I said, damn, man, someone must have drove up. So I got up. As I'm walking to the front door to see if who drove up, because I'm in the middle of woods and a lot of oak trees. And I realized it was in my head. It wasn't a radio. It wasn't a car radio or whatever. And the thing is, I went to railroad tracks too, because I was doing research on electromagnetic fields and stuff. And I went to a railroad track, and all at once my vision came clear, and it was during the day. Wasn't my night vision working. And I saw all these people laying, a whole bunch of them laying next to the railroad track with their heavy telephone. A railroad track is like two wires, and then it has wood, which is a conductor to the earth, you know. And I saw that one time and says, wow, man, that might be the way they communicate to people far away, you know. So, I mean, the thing is, if you don't look, you're never going to see. Like, if no one looked up in the sky and seen the moon, you wouldn't even know it exists. But until you start looking into things, you know how it's like seek. You know that old saying in the Bible says, "Seek, you would find." Well, that's how it works. I mean,
Yeah, I've thought so much about what you say, and I've wondered if there was another reason for you to be the way that you are, aside from you being like this constant warrior, battling all these, evil spirits and stuff. Like, I know you're saying that you're playing with it, you're experimenting with, basically if you hang upside down, the spirits will fall out too. I'm sure you're testing out different things with that, but I'm just wondering if there's another reason for you to be the way you are, so aside from you just being a constant warrior. Do you have any idea what that would be?
well, I think God sends messengers to the earth. I mean, the blood is on the hands of mankind, because every time God sends a messenger, y'all want to say we're on drugs or try to kill us. The blood is in y'all hands. Because every time a messenger comes to try to tell y'all what's going on, y'all tell us we're crazy and get the put us in a crazy house or whatever,
Very
or y'all
true.
kill us.
People who come as a messenger or an angel, right, to spread the good news, essentially, of what they learned in heaven. And they finally remember, they get ridiculed, they get pushed away, they get told that they're crazy, they get told that they're psychotic, schizophrenic, bipolar, have some sort of disorder. And then with all these labels that people put on them, people start believing all the naysayers, and then they get driven to their own insanity because they listen to everybody else's projection instead of their own resonation.
Mm-hmm. So it's really good that you were told that, had that whispered in your ear, OpenEye, to believe in yourself or to trust in yourself, right?
Yeah, that spirit, when he told me that, I couldn't see him, but I could feel the wind coming from his lips, and his lips was right next to my ear. And I'm surprised he just didn't kiss my ear or kiss me on the cheek or something, but it was a male. He wouldn't do that because it would be, he'd probably be gay or something, you know. But it was like he was that close. I mean, he could just could have put a wet one right on my cheek right there, and or on my ear. I mean, and I want to document a lot of stuff because I'm not going to be here much longer. I don't ask for money. I'm not writing a book because when I tried to type a book, I did write one book, but it was like a long time ago, and it's on Amazon. It's like an ebook, and I have so much more information. The best thing to do is do these, you know, videos, not video, but audio things with the
Yeah,
round table.
where you share your knowledge. I like that. I really do. Thank you very much for sharing what you experience and what you've learned and your experiments too. I'm really interested in what happens with the sword with the King Arthur's stone experiment that you're going to be doing. Does
Yeah,
anyone else have any? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask if anyone else had any other questions for you.
I do have one thing that I wanted to talk about. I just didn't want to interrupt anything. So, the title of the podcast is essentially The Quest for the Fifth Element, right? And he talked a bit about the narrative of the movie, The Fifth Element, where Lilu, the main character, I believe Mila Jovovich, she was the fifth element, where the other four elements being the ones, the primary or prime elements that we know, which are fire, water, earth, and air. But the fifth element in that movie was essentially love. That was the moral of the story, right? And if you think about love, you know, I know this is a horse that's been beaten to death, but love is light, and light is love, right? So when you feel the light, it is the love that you feel that emits the light, right? Like even the idea of a sun that its only function is to project its own light onto others. This is a complete act of service to everything else. It wants to project its light so that everything else can be illuminated. Everything else can receive warmth. Everything else can benefit. But in reality, it is on fucking fire in a constant, never-ending thermonuclear reaction. It is
Like
burning from its very core with love so hard that it provides light to all of its other things that are its family, just so that they can experience light because they can't create it themselves.
Well, the love of my life being suffering because they had another person like me. He was a messenger, but they killed him, and he couldn't take it. He prayed, and then blood started coming out of his pores of his skin, and it happened to me too. And I experienced the same thing he did. Now the legend is that blood started coming out of his skin when he was praying because he was suffering. Okay, and I did that when I found out about the 20. I found out about the 13s and the 44s because the president of the United States was 44 president, and that year Easter was the fourth day, fourth month, and New Orleans Saints won the 44th anniversary, 13-0, and I was the 13th sign too. So 13 and the 27s and the 44s hit, and then I went to go mail a stamp, the 44, and the 44 Knights of the Templars was murdered in 1307, and that's another 13 in 07.
Can you talk about that a little bit more?
And then let's see the 40. Let's see the stamps. I went to go mail a bill, and it was the 6th month, the 7th day of my mother's death in 1967. 7/27 of 1967, and on that day I found out the stamps were 44. Now they have a lot of legends about the 1 of 44. And if you take two thumbs and put it as one, the right hand and the left hand of God, and you put your two thumbs up, and that's 1 of 44 because you got 4 fingers on one side and 4 fingers on the other side. And they talk about the 144 standing on Mount Zion. I stood on Mount Zion in 2006. Going to Georgia at Mount Zion, and I was following the book of Revelation. I knew about the 27s then too. and the 44s. And I saw spirits following me. I'm going 75 miles an hour on the highway, Highway 27, and I'm camping out at Mount Zion, you know?
Is that really what
And
it was called? The place was called Mount Zion.
yeah, well, it's on Highway 27 going south of Rome. And I was standing, and the thing is, I saw a spirit said that he said, Jesus told me that you came through the wormhole with the 144. And it's like, what? It's like, damn, that's the first time I ever heard that. And it was some kind of demon saying that, you know, he had a demon face, I guess, whatever. And, but that was pretty amazing when he said, I came through with the 144 through a wormhole, whatever. So, I remember that. But, so I mean that was in 2006 when I woke up, when I was born by a test of fire, and I went to Rome because I met this preacher dude. I didn't know he was a preacher. He met me at Marksville Catholic Church. I was doing research in the stained glass. You know, I was trying to figure out mysteries, you know, as a scientist would do. And this dude come up to me talking in telepathy. I mean, his hands were shovering. You know, he had a hat. I think he had a crystal ball underneath the hat with a cane. I couldn't see it because it was covered up with the hat. And he started talking like, he said, he gave me a secret name. And that's the first time I ever met, you know, this dude was flesh. He was human. Because when I touched him, it was flesh. He shook my hand, you know. It was during the day. And she couldn't hear him talking, but I could hear him, you know. And he told me to go to Rome. And then later on, when he was talking, and you know, like a human would talk, he said, "I'm going to Georgia next." So I put Rome and Georgia together because he told me to go to Rome, you know, and he told me this secret name that I remembered when I was a child, and that's why I went to Rome, Georgia. You know,
That was the name that that he told you was your name?
well, it's a secret name that he said that when I was a child, I remember telling my brothers that I was supposed to be named this name, not, you know, not my name. So it's kind of like a memory when I would remember when I was a child, you know. Yeah. So
I think Crimson Raven had a question about Knights Templar that you mentioned.
Yeah, you said something about the 44 Knights 44 Knights of the Templar, I think was your exact words.
yeah, they were murdered by the Catholic Church and the King of France. They set them up. They had debt. They had to pay debt to the biggest debtors to the Knights of the Templars were Catholic Church and the King of France. So the best way to get rid of their debt was to kill them, round them up, and kill as many of them, and start a war with them, I guess. You know, and then
So that means that the Knights Templar were in charge at that time before the, you know, they were the ones lending.
yeah, well, yeah, and the Catholic Church owed them money because of the stuff they were doing for the Catholic Church. You know, bringing people to Jerusalem. Uh, guarding over them so they don't get killed or robbed and stuff, whatever.
So I noticed that you were mentioning a lot of numbers. What's the significance to you for numbers?
Well, the 27th, we got 26 letters, okay, in the alphabet, in the English alphabet, whatever. And the 27th letter is the invisible one. So that's me, pretty much, I guess. But I can't say that I'm 27 because I don't know. But the way my mother was died on that day, and then I'm the 13th sign because I'm in between the 12 zodiac and the first zodiac, so I'm the 13 number. And then
what does 13 mean to you?
The 44 is hit too. Huh?
What does the number 13 mean to you aside from when you were born?
Well, all the prophets like Osiris, I mean, the Greek people, they always talk about the 12 followers, and the one person which they followed was number 13. So, and it goes through all history and Egypt and Greek and all kind of mythology, you know. And the thing is, with Yahshua, they did the same. They just borrowed or they just copied. I guess he copied it. I don't know. He said, "Well, I just want 12 followers, you know, like everybody else has, you know." And he was the 13th one, you know. If you add him plus his 12 followers, that means he's 13. So I'm born on the 13th sign. So, you know, the day of spring. And I found out, you know what's going to happen? The day of spring is Passover, plus it's going to be a full moon after my birthday, the 21st. And you know what it is now? It's 2021 of the year. And my birthday is March the 20th. So the full moon is going to be on the 21st. And Passover is on the 20th. This year.
And what does the number 4 mean to you?
4?
There's a lot
Well,
of
it's
fours
actually
that you
40. It's actually 44. Like Noah was on the ark for 40 days and 40 nights. Yahshua fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Why would he fast for 40 days and 40 nights? To send a message about Noah. And then he said, well, you know, the times of Noah and Jonah, y'all never know when the messenger's going to come. Y'all going to be getting married, you know, celebrating, you know, going, you know, living your daily life. And then the messenger shows up and they tell you what's going on, just like Noah and Jonah and Moses too, and a lot of other prophets before that, you know. So the 44s, you know, and plus you got 4 fingers on one side, 4 fingers on the other side. And I was sitting at a table where they had 4 people and 4 people, and they had 3 people and 3 people. So there was actually 14 people sitting at this table. And there were 3 on one at the head of the they had 3 at the head, 3 at the other head, and then the 4 was on the side of the, you know, it's like a rectangle. So there was actually 14 people. So the body is made up of 14 parts too.
It's
So
actually very interesting that you say that, right? Because I have provided no information for anything like that. So one thing I did want to talk about is link this this message a couple times, or this picture a couple times in general chat since this started, but I'll link it again. But so in my you know, contemplations and understanding of reality, I believe that there are 7 elements. So, and those 7 elements are obviously the 4: earth, air, fire, and water. And the other 3 elements, in that picture you'll see at the center is light, at the bottom is time, and then at the top is essentially like the aether. And those are the 7 elements from my perspective, right? So, you know, when we talk about the 5th element in that movie, right? So in that case, the 5th element was light, or love, or whatever. The, you know, the core, the center that took the other 4 elements. Or, you know, you could also be very symbolic in like the 4 cardinal directions or the 4 primal forces, and basically like unified them. But in a sense, they are emanations of that unification in the first place. So it kind of is more of a remembering of the unification.
Yeah, they got the 4 winds too. I don't know if these are angels or it's just kind of powers or whatever, the 4 winds. and they talk about the wind, you know, the elements or whatever it is, and wind actually is some kind of powers or whatever. And that spirit that sent me to Rome, Georgia, said that I was over the four winds. Like that's my that I'm over them, whatever, or they work for me, you know.
That's
And
pretty powerful.
Yeah, and I
yeah,
think
well,
that, the symbology there is again referring to probably the north, southwest, right? The cardinal directions, the four winds. At least that's my perspective.
well, in the book of Revelation, they said they said don't let loose the four winds because they don't want to harm the trees and uh, stuff like that, or whatever. I mean, so they talk about the four winds a lot.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, here's another interesting thought. So, when we think about the cardinal directions or the four winds, it makes like a plus sign essentially. But like Christianity is a cross, right, with the southern node descending, symbolizing the idea of descent, like, or the fact that something is coming from the core, the center, like fulcrum, and it is descending downwards. Is very much what the cross is very symbolic of.
well, I saw a spirit a couple of nights ago. I was in Walmart parking lot, and they had this X come up, and it come out the ground. It looked like it came. I don't know. I forgot which direction it came. It came out the ground where I was actually, and it went up. And some spirit, it was going straight for this spirit. These two spirits that was in the stars or whatever, and they were saying, "Get away from me! Get away from me!" It's like the X, the the cross, like you said, the cross or whatever it was, the X.
Mhm.
But
It's
it's
like
not the cross. It wasn't a cross. This thing, whatever it was alive. I don't know if it was aliens created, but I could definitely see this X was like full of energy, and it was going up, and he was actually talking to it like, "Get away from me! Get away from me!"
so the
So,
interesting thing
but
about X.
that goes with the letters though, because see, from A to Z, Z is it's the what they call alpha and omega. So the omega is it's not the X, it's the X of the Z,
It's the
but
end.
it's a Z, yeah. But yeah, letters. It has 13 letters, and then 13 is 26. So from A to M, like I am. Remember how the dude said, "I am who I am."
Why does
So,
someone keep moving it?
but they have another thing that's N to Z. The other 13 letters is N to Z. So N is a Z. Actually, it's the same thing.
Hmm.
You see what I'm
It's
saying?
very
So 13, you got 13 letters. One of them is I am, and one of them is NZ. You see?
Do each one of those, the letters and numbers, do they have spirits as well? Like you were mentioning the spirits being the letters, having the names of letters. Do numbers have that as well? Like, are they spirits as well?
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know I don't know how long the letters go and the numbers. I mean,
So I don't know if there's any relevance here, but I is the 8th letter of the alphabet. M is the 13th letter of the alphabet, and the second, the next 13th letter is Z. Right, so you would have 8, 13, 26. I don't know if that means anything, but that's what I have popped.
well, I had a vision of we had all these kids in a school, and we was going to this planet, and we was gonna have to learn code breaking. I had this vision that I was like, we had a group of people that was going to be born in on the earth, and we had to do like code breaking. We had to figure stuff out. That's why I've been trying to figure stuff out. And the thing is, I'm supposed to activate. I'm the activator. I'm supposed to activate the humans to open your eyes. But some humans are evil, and you don't want to open their eyes. You want them to stay blind. Just like when Yeshua said, I'm here to open the eyes of the blind, but I'm here to blind the ones that think they can see, like the bad people that were trying to aggravate him and stuff, trying to kill him. And he pretty much says, I'm gonna blind your ass, So somebody, so I just had to take a chance and just try to tell people about the OpenEye project and just let the cards fall where it's going to fall. I mean, hopefully they got more good people than there's evil, So
OpenEye, this has all been extremely interesting, and I'm really glad that you've been sharing with us. I'm really glad that you've decided to do the recorded event. I think this would be a good time to wrap it up, though, unless did you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, the last thing I saw when I was looking at the trees came to life and actually were untying. It's like the tree came to life and it had arms and they were untying the good people. And then some of the trees were starting to eat the bad ones. Like one dude was like, I'm talking about the trees that's higher up, like high. I'm not talking about the trees that you could see. I'm talking about the invisible. Well, I'm talking about both of them because even the trees was wanting to eat these bad people because the tree has a mind. They know what is evil and what's good, And I don't know what I did. I can't tell you how I did it, but somehow I took the curse off the trees where they came back to life and they had a consciousness now, and it's like, oh my God, I never seen this before. So whatever I did, I'm gonna have to research about what I've done.
Okay, so we're going to wrap it up here, but this was another fantastic episode. Thank you so much, OpenEye, for your fascinating information, and thank you very much, Kasheka, for the interview. That was fantastic, and hopefully that will be the first of many that we do. Anyone who wants to schedule an event, be in a podcast, do a podcast, I posted a guide to doing them in the night chat. Anyone can do on any time. And OpenEye, I think this is like maybe our 6th podcast we recorded. You can find the rest of them in the RT podcast or podcast series channels. And I think we'll wrap it up here and jump back up to the regular chat rooms. But for those listening, please make sure to join the Roundtable Discord server. Check out the RT podcast channel, the other 2 episodes, and follow and subscribe on YouTube and BitChute. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, OpenEye. Thanks, Kasheka. God bless. And let's head up to either the pub. Well, let's go to the pub, unless you don't want a video chat, and then go to the roundtable one. Jump up.